Hi, welcome to my CEOTour, episode number 11 already with Dave from SolidFire. Welcome, Dave.
Thank you, Hans.
Hi. Dave, we are here, I think, second official day of VMworld, and this is a personal interview. This is about you, not specifically about the company. But Dave, let me ask you first, who are you today besides being a CEO?
Well, I definitely see myself as a startup guy. This is my third startup. I don't know if that qualifies me as a serial entrepreneur, but I really enjoy starting companies. I really enjoy growing companies, and SolidFire is certainly kind of the wildest ride yet. But outside of that, I certainly have other interests. I've got a great family. I've got a couple of kids that I love spending time with. I'm into to racing cars. SolidFire is certainly Porsches mainly.
Okay.
Yep.
So you own?
I own a couple Porsches and get them to the track whenever I can. Yep.
Okay. What models?
I've got a Cayman S and a 911 GT3 RS.
Nice. Awesome. So that's what you disconnect with?
It is. So in the small amount of time I have outside of work and then outside of family, I go to the track and burn off my steam there.
Very important. It's something that comes in almost all the interviews, that the disconnecting time is equally important to the working time as such. Now, how did you become that person? Run me through your education or the first years. What are the things that changed you as to become the person you are today?
Well, I think it was really in kind of junior and high school that I really started getting into computers. Before that, I thought I was going to be a fighter pilot, but I think that's what every kid wants to be when they grow up. And after that, I decided, computers were pretty cool, and I wanted to do something with that. I went to Stanford, got very involved in the video game community and the stuff that was going on with kind of the first online games in the late 90s, and went and did my first startup in Southern California with just a bunch of fun guys that, we just wanted to go and kind of create something and see what happened.
What did you create?
So we created a company called GameSpy, and we were one of the first companies helping to bring video games online and providing technology for matchmaking and score ranking and that type of thing.
How did that go?
It went really well. We successfully exited that company after 5 or 6 years. It was interesting because that company spanned the time of the dot-com bust, and I think when I left Stanford to go help start that company, it was kind of like, well, we're going to IPO in 6 months, right? Because that's what everybody was doing. But what happened is, of course, the market tanked, and we had to go build a real business and build a sustainable model, and eventually, had a good exit. But it was probably much further down the road than any of us expected when we started it.
Okay, it was number one. What happened after that, just before SolidFire then?
Well, so I was enamored by computers, and I was enamored by video games, and then, what happened after that is I got enamored by what was going on in cloud computing. Back in 2006, when Amazon first launched their S3 service, and, I looked at everything that we had to do as an internet company at GameSpy to kind of build and manage our own infrastructure, and I realized, this was really, this was the way of the future, right? Not having to deploy and manage your own servers, not having to kind of manually configure all of your applications, all of this stuff. It was very clear that model was very interesting, and I wanted to get more into that cloud space, and so ended up creating a company called Jungle Disk that was one of the first companies to do online backup to the cloud, and probably the first online storage company that didn't own any infrastructure ourselves. Everything was based in the Amazon cloud.
It's actually when you say Amazon launched S3 2006, it's like that's 7-8 years ago, and we're still trying to get after them, and it blows a little bit your mind away, right? Well,
they have certainly not slowed down. The level of innovation they've had over the last 7 or 8 years, the growth that they've experienced, and the change that really kind of that starting point has driven into the industry, where we're talking now not just about obviously public clouds and multiple public clouds, but really changing the way that IT infrastructure in enterprises is managed completely, where if you're not moving to the public cloud completely, you're at least redefining your internal IT processes to look more like a service provider, to build private cloud infrastructures, and to really deliver IT as a service, which is, I think, something that people have aspired for a long time, but the cloud model has really provided kind of a framework to say, look, here's how you deliver compute on demand and storage and networking, and here's how you orchestrate those into application stacks, and so to me that has really been this journey that started a number of years ago and really is just continuing.
What happened to Jungle Disk?
So Jungle Disk had another successful exit. Fortunately, we sold it to Rackspace back in 2008. And part of the reason for that exit is I was, like I said, very interested in the cloud, but I really wanted to get on the other side of the firewall, so to speak. I really wanted to get into the cloud data center and start working more with the actual building and managing of the actual cloud infrastructure. And so that was a great opportunity to spend some time at Rackspace, spend about a year and a half there, helping them build and launch their cloud computing effort, the Rackspace Cloud. And it was really the time there that kind of led to the creation of SolidFire. As I looked at the challenges that we had at Rackspace around storage, the kind of traditional storage architectures and how they, in most cases, were not a good fit to what we were building at Rackspace, and realized that this change that was sweeping the industry was going to drive new requirements in compute, new requirements in networking, and certainly new requirements in storage. And storage was the piece that really nobody seemed to be doing anything about. There was a lot of people doing object-based storage, and that was certainly a big part of kind of the capacity play of the cloud. But more and more applications were moving to the cloud, and there was a need for performance-oriented storage as well. And that was a space that nobody was really playing in. And that really led directly to the creation of SolidFire, a company that has kind of been started from the ground up around solving these performance challenges in large clouds.
Yeah. So been around for a few years, actually, already. Run me through the last 12 months from your point of view, from the CEO point of view. What happened with your company? What was your role in that?
Yeah, it's certainly been an exciting 12 months. So the company's been around for about 3.5 years. The first 2.5 years of that was just building the product. It's a pretty significant engineering effort to build a new storage product from the ground up, particularly one with the complexity of a scale-out solution like SolidFire. So it took us about 2.5 years just to build kind of the first GA product, and it was just about a year ago now that we put that product into the market, got our first paying customers, and got the first systems into production in public clouds. And really what we've seen over the last year, obviously we've continued to grow the market we're addressing, both service providers as well as enterprise private clouds. We've seen great technology improvements in our platform. We've got a new system we launched that has 50% higher density, that is now really undisputably the largest and fastest flash storage system on the market. And then we also just closed a great round of financing led by Samsung Ventures. So we're very well positioned to the next phase, which is really about growing our market, continuing to reach out to more and more organizations that are building clouds. So
that's actually challenge for 2014 is that growth, the expansion. Are there new opportunities that need to happen in the next 12? What's the real challenge for the CEO in this whole thing?
The real challenge is probably managing the growth at this point. Our sales are growing rapidly. The teams to both sell and support those customers are growing very rapidly. We've got to manage that. We've got to continue pushing the envelope on the development of the product. We can't fall behind there. And then we also, and a lot of the reason we're here at VMworld is get our message out into the world about really why you need a different storage architecture for clouds, why cloud is different from virtualization, and why it drives a whole new set of requirements.
If you say the growth of the company and you're focusing on the sales, do you have, are you already in EMEA and APAC outside of the US? How does that go? Because that's something I hear for the companies that are 3, 4, 5 years old. They start going out abroad, and it's challenging that you have 50 or 100 people here, and then you have 10 people on the other side. So how do you do that?
Well, cloud is absolutely a global phenomenon. There's no doubt about that. And one of the kind of challenges we had very early on was we realized even if we targeted U.S. customers, all of the big U.S. cloud computing companies have international data centers. And so we really designed the kind of support organization to be able to service and support the product worldwide on day one. Now, an interesting side effect of that is that we were also able to sell it internationally on day one as well. Even though we didn't have an international sales team, we had cloud providers that were based in Europe as well as Asia that were coming to us and asking about the product. And we had several of our early sales in both Europe as well as the kind of Asia Pacific region, and we've seen tremendous growth now, particularly in Europe. We had a recent announcement with Colt, who's one of the largest service providers in Europe, selecting SolidFire for their next generation storage platform. And we do a pretty significant double-digit percentage of our sales in Europe today already.
But you don't have a staff outside of the U.S.
No, we do actually. So we have a pretty significant team now based in London for European operations, and I suspect that'll continue to grow both through partners as well as direct staff around the world.
Great. You're in one of the panels. I like hear you speaking. I heard you last year at the Flash Symposium we had in San Jose, which was actually a very nice symposium. What's the importance of the VMware ecosystem for you today?
Obviously it's critical, right? VMware provides, a foundational piece of the enterprise ecosystem today. When we talk about the foundations for cloud computing and the different pieces that are needed, obviously the hypervisor and compute management layer is absolutely critical. The software-defined networking piece is obviously becoming more and more important with the Nicira acquisition and the NSX product. VMware is clearly moving into that space. And so, our integration into that ecosystem, working with them on future technologies like vVols so that the storage piece can plug in and be orchestrated and managed with the same level of control and SLAs and quality of service that you get on the compute and networking side is absolutely important.
So you are a development partner on the vVols technology?
We are. So we're working with them both on their current APIs as well as future APIs, and I think it's important to continue to move the bar forward, because as these infrastructures get larger and larger, the challenges around storage are significant.
Yeah. I think we can wrap up here, Dave.
Okay.
Thank you for your time, and we'll follow up on the technology, and I hope to see you more in the VMware community.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. Thanks a lot.
Dave, thanks.